Tehran thought they had the perfect trap: 38 missiles, a swarm of attack boats, and a lone US destroyer cornered in the world's most dangerous bottleneck. But in less than an hour, the hunter became the prey. Witness the moment the US military unleashed hell, vaporizing an entire regional fleet and leaving nothing behind but smoke and silence. This is the story of the most humiliating defeat in modern naval history, the 47-minute disaster. How Iran's ambush in the Strait of Hormuz turned into a total defeat. Dear listeners, welcome to this exciting special edition of our program. Imagine this: the sun beats down mercilessly from a clear sky, the waters of the Strait of Hormuz glisten in the midday heat, and suddenly all hell breaks loose. A single American destroyer, the USS George Washington, is escorting a harmless-looking oil tanker through the narrowest point in the world, and Iran strikes. With all the brutality and arrogance of a regime that believes it can blackmail the global oil supply. What followed was not just an attack, but an act of pure aggression that ended in one of the most humiliating and devastating defeats for the Iranian armed forces in modern history. In just 47 minutes, the entire naval presence of the Revolutionary Guard in the region was wiped out. A total undeniable catastrophe for Tehran and a triumphant demonstration of American superiority. The strategic bottleneck, the Strait of Hormuz, this vital artery of the global economy, is only 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. Every day, 20% of the world's oil, over 30 million barrels, flows through this narrow passage. Iran controls the northern coast and has threatened for decades to close this strait to strangle the world economy. Empty threats. Until recently, yes. But in January 2026, everything escalates. Iran deploys 6 state-of-the-art anti-ship missile batteries along the coast, Chinese C-802 missiles with a range of 120 kilometers capable of sinking any destroyer. Added to this are increased patrols, dozens of speedboats, and missile corvettes aggressively harassing American ships. Tehran believes the moment has come to humiliate America, stop the flow of oil, and bring the world to its knees. The mission of the USS George Washington. The USA responds consistently. They continue freedom of navigation operations, escort American tankers, and ignore Iranian provocations. The strait remains open is the clear message to the regime in Tehran. In early January 2026, the USS George Washington, a sophisticated Arleigh Burke-class destroyer equipped with the Aegis Combat System, SM-2 anti-air missiles, Tomahawk cruise missiles, and a 127mm deck gun, receives the order escort the oil tanker Pacific Endeavor safely through the strait. Captain Sarah Mitchell, the experienced commander, knows the risk is high. She addresses the crew. "We are entering the strait in broad daylight. The enemy will see everything we do. Expect harassment or worse. All systems to full readiness. This is a combat zone. Stay alert." What the crew does not know: intelligence reports indicate a planned Iranian raid. Tehran has been planning this ambush for weeks, convinced they can sink a single destroyer, hijack the tanker, and force America to the negotiating table. A fatal error. The ambush begins at noon. With perfect visibility, Iran activates its radar. 6 missile batteries lock onto the USS George Washington. 12 Revolutionary Guard fast attack boats armed with anti-ship missiles launch from Bandar Abbas, and 3 missile corvettes, larger warships with heavy weapons, take up intercept positions. Everything happens in bright sunlight, clearly visible to satellites and reconnaissance aircraft. Tehran's message is unmistakable: this tanker is not getting through. This destroyer will not survive. Iran believes it has the perfect trap: a destroyer in the world's tightest bottleneck, surrounded by missile batteries and attacking boats with no way out. The plan: overwhelming simultaneous attacks, sinking the ship in Iranian waters, capturing the survivors, hijacking the tanker, and achieving the maximum humiliation of America. 4 fatal miscalculations. However, Tehran makes 4 catastrophic miscalculations. First, the USS George Washington is not alone. 3 state-of-the-art submarines lurk invisibly beneath the surface. Second, the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group is only a few nautical miles away, with 48 FA-18 Super Hornet jets ready for takeoff. Third, every Iranian missile battery is already targeted by B-1B bombers at 40,000 feet. Fourth, the tanker Iran wants to hijack carries a deadly surprise: 12 elite Force Recon Marines hidden below deck. When Iran strikes it thinks it is sinking a destroyer. Instead, it triggers the largest American naval counteroffensive in the Persian Gulf since 1988, a chain of events that leads to the total destruction of Iranian forces in just 47 minutes. A question for the listeners. Dear listeners, what do you think? Could Iran really believe they could get away with such a raid unpunished? Or was this a desperate attempt by a regime to hide its weakness? Write us your opinion, we will read them aloud. The battle minute by minute now to the detailed account of the engagement minute by minute in all its brutal intensity. The attack begins at noon. Iranian coastal batteries fire 8 high-speed C-802 anti-ship missiles, their vapor trails clearly visible in the bright sky. Simultaneously, the 12 speedboats open fire. 24 smaller missiles smoke clouds visible for miles. The 3 corvettes fire 6 more heavy missiles. In total, 38 missiles race toward a single destroyer, the largest anti-ship missile attack on a U.S. ship since World War II. A wave of destruction that would overwhelm any normal destroyer. Captain Mitchell immediately orders, engage, activate all defense systems, launch countermeasures, return fire authorized. The Aegis system of the USS George Washington springs to life. It tracks all 38 missiles, calculates intercept solutions, and fires SM-2 interceptor missiles. Explosion after explosion, white contrails against the blue sky as the first Iranian missiles detonate in the air. Brilliant flashes visible for miles, but there are too many too fast. The Phalanx close-in weapon systems activate 20mm Gatling guns, 4,500 rounds per minute, the last line of defense. Missiles explode in close proximity. Shrapnel rains down. 2 Iranian missiles break through the defense. One hits the forward section above the waterline. A massive explosion fire and black smoke billows up. The second strikes aft, further damage casualties among the crew. The USS George Washington is burning smoke clouds visible from the Iranian coast, but she fights on. Captain Mitchell, damage report fire Tomahawks at the missile batteries. 8 Tomahawk cruise missiles launch from the vertical launch systems, flames bright even in the daylight. Each missile is programmed for an Iranian battery. The counterstrike simultaneously, the 12 Iranian boats close into 5 kilometers machine guns, rattling more missiles launching. The 127mm deck gun of the USS George Washington swivels, boom, boom, boom. The first boat is shredded and an explosion debris flying. The second explodes, the third burns fiercely. Yet 9 boats continue to attack fanatical and reckless. The corvettes approach menacingly. Captain Mitchell radios CENTCOM, "We are hit. 2 impacts fire, smoke visible for miles, need immediate support." The response, "Air support in 60 seconds. Hold on." And then comes the Cavalry 8 FA-18 Super Hornets race across the strait at 600 knots, clearly visible in the sky. The pilots see the battlefield, the destroyer is burning but fighting. Iranian boats are swarming, missiles are flying. Weapons free, priority corvettes and boats. 16 AGM-84 Harpoon anti-ship missiles launch fire and forget radar guided. Their trails are visible in the sun. The corvettes attempt evasive maneuvers too late. 3 massive explosions occur simultaneously. Fireballs erupt, ships break apart and sink in minutes. Then the Hornets turn to the boats. 20mm cannon fire precise dive bombing runs, tracer rounds in the bright day. Boats explode, burn, and sink. Of the 12, 0 remain. The 8 Tomahawks reach the coast, 6 batteries destroyed in synchronized detonations, leaving huge craters and annihilated command centers. Total annihilation, but America is not finished. 2 B-1B Lancer bombers, which had been in the air for hours, received targeting data. 48 JDAM precision bombs on all Iranian naval facilities within 100 kilometers. Command centers, ammunition depots, barracks, radar. The bombs fall through the clear sky GPS, guided to within centimeters. Within 4 minutes, dozens of facilities explode, chain reactions in depots, massive fireballs visible in the daylight. 3 Virginia-class submarines surface dramatically visible in the sun and fire 12 Tomahawks at the naval headquarters in Bandar Abbas. The building from which the attack was coordinated disappears in explosions. The admiral is dead. His staff is dead. Another 16 FA-18s and 4 EA-18 Growlers for electronic warfare arrive. The Growlers blind all Iranian radars. The enemy is blind. The Hornets systematically destroy remaining patrol boats, warehouses, and fuel depots, fireballs visible 50 kilometers away. The The tanker Pacific Endeavor springs into action, 12 Marines storm out launch 2 fast boats and land on the coast. A lightning strike on the observation post that coordinated the missile attack breaching charges, flashbangs, precise room clearing. 8 Iranians captured intelligence secured systems, destroyed all in broad daylight, too late for any Iranian response. Finally, the damaged USS George Washington fires 8 more Tomahawks at the military complex in Bandar Abbas. It ceases to exist. The aftermath. By 3:45 p.m., the battle is over. Everything happened in broad daylight, documented by satellites. American losses. The destroyer is damaged but seaworthy. All crew members survive. The tanker is unharmed. Marines return with valuable intelligence. Iranian losses catastrophic. 12 speedboats sunk 3 corvettes, destroyed 6 missile batteries, eliminated headquarters, pulverized 57 facilities, destroyed over 320 dead. The entire Revolutionary Guard Navy in the region is functionally wiped out. Iran attempts damage control. State media lies about a successful defense against American aggression and claims the destroyer was heavily damaged and fled. Pure fiction. Satellite images show the truth-sunken ships on the seabed, smoking craters, piles of rubble, all in high-resolution daylight photos. The Pentagon releases the footage. The message to Tehran is clear. This is what happens when you attack American ships. The global reaction shock. Iranian attack ends in catastrophic defeat. Revolutionary Guard humiliated in 47 minutes. Captain Mitchell receives the Navy Cross. The Marines receive Bronze Stars. The captured intelligence reveals Iran had planned this ambush for weeks, convinced of an easy victory. Instead, loss of 320 men, 15 ships' batteries, and command, all destroyed in a single afternoon. Dear listeners, what does this tell us? Is this the beginning of the end of Iranian provocations? Or is Tehran risking an even greater escalation? Share your thoughts with us, call in or write. This story shows aggression against America ends in disaster. Stay tuned for further analysis.